I'm going to show you how I make put a ring on it pot roast. You'll want to start with a Dutch oven. This is like an investment piece for your kitchen. It's really heavy duty. It just makes making a pot roast pretty simple. I'm going to start getting this heated up on the stove. I have a nice good size pot roast for my family. I'm just going to start seasoning it with salt, some pepper, I like to add just a little bit of garlic powder, sprinkle a little on. I'm going to turn this and get the other side seasoned. Salt, pepper, and again, some garlic. Perfect. I've been heating up my Dutch oven for a few minutes. I'm just going to coat the bottom with some oil. I'm using a canola oil. You could use peanut oil, would be a good choice too. Next, we're going to sear the beef. We want to get a nice sear on all sides. I just added a cup of beef broth. I'm going to add 2 or 3 bay leaves. We're going to get the top on this. Turn the flame down to low and we'll check it in 20 minutes. I want to show you what this looks like after 20 minutes. You have a little bit of fluid in the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to turn it on its side. I went ahead and I turned it on its side. Now I'm just going to get the top back on it. Time it for another 20 minutes. It's been another 20 minutes. You can see some of the juice from the roast is letting off now. That's what you want. We're going to go ahead and turn it again. Put the top on. Oh, come over here, you little roast. Don't get the best of me. We're going to turn it again and then put the top on it and check it in 20 minutes. And I'm just going to keep doing that through the day. This has been cooking for about 2 hours, and we're just going to keep cooking it low and slow. It smells amazing in the house, I tell you that. We have been cooking this roast for about 4 hours, and you can kind of see what's happening here when it starts looking like that. In the next 20 to 40 minutes, all of this liquid's gonna cook off, even with the top on. And what will start happening is the oil that's left in the pan is gonna start caramelizing this roast. And that's the critical part about making a pot roast on the stove, is to get that caramelization. So we're getting close, guys. You can see that all of that liquid is starting to just dissipate. We're getting close, close, close. This is what I want to show you. See how it's getting that caramelization and really dark color? I'm going to start checking this like every 5 minutes or so and turning it so that all of the roast gets this caramelization. I'm going to start turning this on the sides. It is fork tender, you guys. I'm going to fish out these bay leaves at this point. All right, I'm just going to keep browning up this edge. This looks fantastic. I'm going to remove the pot roast and get it to the platter and let it rest for me while I make the gravy. All right. I'm going to add about 1/3 cup of flour. The roast is just fork tender. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to do a couple little things. I'm going to put a couple Knorr bouillon cubes. I'm going to add some of this browning seasoning. That's about a good tablespoon. And then I'm going to add some beef broth. I'm going to start with 3 cups. And I want to scrape off every little bit of that fond that's on the bottom of this pan. That's where all the flavor is. So the whole pan will be clean by the time we're done. All right, this is going to come to temperature. We'll test it for seasoning and go from there. You can see that it's thickened. I just tasted it for seasoning and it is spot on. So look how rich that gravy is. This gravy has so much flavor. I like the Instapot and I like the slow cooker and the crock pot just like everybody else, but there's nothing like a old-fashioned pot roast cooked on top of the stove. Just saying. In my mixing bowl, I have 1/4 cup of sugar, a tablespoon of dry yeast, and 1 cup of warm water. It's been all mixed together. We're just going to let it set for 5 or 10 minutes. The yeast is going to activate, and then we're going to add a few more ingredients, and we're going to make my grandma's dinner rolls. These are never fail grandma's dinner rolls. So good. In my bowl here, I have 3½ cups of flour that I sifted, and I added a teaspoon of salt. You can see that the yeast is activating. I added 2 tablespoons softened butter and 1 egg. I'm going to take this over to the mixer and start adding the flour mixture to it. Once it's incorporated, we'll knead it for 5 minutes. We're just going to knead for 5 minutes. I kneaded the dough for 5 minutes and I put it in an oiled bowl, covered it with plastic wrap, and we're going to let this sit until it rises. The dough has risen. I'm going to get this cut up into 12 pieces, equal pieces. Okay. Cut my hand and kind of roll into circles. I have a 13 by 9 inch pan that I'm just going to set those in. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned, but I sprayed the 13 by 9 inch pan with cooking spray. I went ahead and I made 12 today. Those will be nice size rolls. Just going to cover it with some plastic wrap and then let the rolls rise. Super cinchy recipe. They always come out so perfect. These have risen for about 45 minutes. I'm going to get them into a 350 preheated oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I just took the dinner rolls out of the oven. I have some compound garlic butter, and I'm just going to put that all over the top. I have a video on how to make compound garlic butter that you can put in your freezer and just pull out a chunk when you're doing something like this. I'll put that link in the description box. Oh my gosh, if you could just have smell-o-vision right now. Oh, so good. All right. Those are my grandma's dinner rolls. We're gonna bump up the flavor anywhere we can. And one of the things we're gonna do is take a couple heads of garlic, cut the tops off. I triple folded the aluminum over. I'm going to add some olive oil to the top of each of these heads of garlic. We're going to roast this in a 350-degree oven, and we're going to add this to our mashed potatoes. We want max flavor. Just go ahead and go like that. Get this in the oven. Perfect. It's been about 45 minutes for the garlic. I'm just going to let this cool on this saucer. And yeah, it smells amazing. What happens when you roast garlic, it becomes mild in flavor and actually a little bit sweet. These are still a little bit warm, so I'm just going to let them sit and cool down completely. The garlic has finally cooled down, so I'm going to get this garlic out of here. Let me work on this and I'll come right back. You're going to end up with about that much garlic, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But it's going to be very, very mild flavor. I peeled some potatoes and I have them in some salted water. I'm going to go ahead and cook them on top of the stove and make some delicious mashed potatoes. I'm getting ready to make the mashed potatoes. I have a half a cup of butter because I have quite a few potatoes, salt and pepper, and all of that roasted garlic. I'm going to get the potatoes in here and take them over to the mixer and put the paddle attachment on, but mix them on the lowest speed. You don't want to whip them. They get really gray and gelatinous. You just want to use the paddle attachment on the lowest setting. And then as they start to break down, I'll add a little bit of light cream until it gets the right consistency. That's how I make my mashed potatoes. I'm going to start adding the cream. You can use light cream, heavy cream, milk, whatever you have. And just add it until they get the desired creaminess for the amount of potatoes that we're working with here. That is looking really great. I think that's perfect. I have some green beans, and I'm just going to blanch them in this boiling water for a minute or two and get them in an ice bath. To finish the green beans, I'm sauteing them in some butter, salt and pepper, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and 1 clove of garlic grated on a microplane. We're just going to heat them through. That's all we're doing. It is just notches above any pot roast I've ever had. And I just wanted to take the time today and film this for you guys and show you how to make not only that, but my grandma's dinner rolls. So I hope you guys give this one a try because it's really good. I know the pot roast is the star, but just look at that texture on that dinner roll. That is a thing of beauty and a joy forever. Just saying.